Welcome to Mystic Moon's full moon broadcast. Full moon connecting with his spirits. We have to ask what's happening in the United States today? In LA, we have 1 square mile of disturbance. And yet, in the first time in history, first time in reasonable length of time of history, we have U.S. armed forces, almost 5,000 members, Marines, the Marines of all people, 500 or 700 Marines and 4,000 National Guard. And it's 1 square mile of urban LA, Los Angeles. Hello. Hello, Monique Manette. How are you? Hello, hello, hello. And you have to ask ourselves, why is this 1 square mile with almost 5,000 members of the armed forces against outraged citizens? Citizens who, let's face it, LA is not a cheap town. It's not cheap. Probably a cup of tea costs about at least $6 or $7 for hot water and an 8-ounce cup of hot water and a tea bag. Probably costs like $8, $7 or $8. It does. And then what is the expense of everything, and how's the employment rate? And then don't you think that they have a lot of issues? And even if you were to go to a movie, if you were going to a show, how much would that cost? Whereas you can even treat the fact of like demonstrating as an activity, especially when you don't have much cash. It's like something to get together. It's a block party. It's this, it's that. It's so many things. But then again, under the guise of, let's say, immigration, ICE. Now, we all have different feelings about people coming into places without the proper protocol. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, we all know this. No matter where you come from, if you could go to their place and get the same kind of treatment, in other words, before the ICE took over. But if you got the handouts, you got the nice hotel room, you got this, you got that, you were just freely able to walk through borders. If it was like, okay, you can come into my country and I can go into your country, but it's not like that. However, this is a very psychic thing. The United States is a very not psychic in terms of like telepathy, remote viewing and stuff like that, but more like, I know where you're coming from. And it's a consumer society based on, hello, how are you? Christ land every best poker. Okay, good. Now, Christ, you have to realize where they're coming from. I mean, American things are like, if you have a car, if my car is better than your car, I'm better than you. If my house is better than yours, I'm better than you. That's the kind of consumer competition we have in this country. And the fact of our caring, decade by decade, of callous television programs, media, what's important, what's not important. We're not the most sympathetic people in the world. We're full of entitlements. That's who we are, and that's something that we have to collectively discuss. But let's get back to the point of the matter is we have almost 5,000 armed forces attacking us, its own. Now, the military, the Marines were sent in Europe to get rid of the Nazis, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, what are they doing in LA? It's a show of what? Burning a few cars. That's nothing new for the United States. We've always burned a few cars. Yes, it is distressful, but who's doing this? Who is doing this? That's a question. And we broadly can say, Now, most people have to think twice, not most people, a lot of people have to think twice about sitting down for a cup of $8 tea with one tea bag. Now, how can they afford to get this, first of all, time to go out and parade around, to razzle, just to be riotous? And who can afford to get all the equipment, the face masks, the gas masks, the helmets, all this anti-riot equipment? It costs money. It costs money. Even if you were to get a pack of plastic gloves, that costs like 10, $12. And it's going up every day. So you could see how can all this be happening, all this drama over what? Something that's been happening for 4 years, 5 years, quite a length of time. And we do know there are sleeper cells. We do know all this. And we know that food factories, we know that energy centers have all of a sudden exploded and are no more. So we do know that there's an effort going on. There is something going on in this country that's systematically being reduced to a banana republic. And if we were to have discussions about this, instead of having armed forces going bang, 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 and inciting the crowd, then perhaps we would come to a better solution. A better solution. But it's not meant to be. It's meant to change the system. And what better way to change the system than to have chaos in terms of riots and police and now the military. And you have to question what is the objective here. Also, too, we know that we have 5G towers everywhere and they're emitting frequencies that if a certain frequency is put on the human brain, you agitate or you can slow down the talk. There's many, many things that are not being discussed, and just broadly putting it under immigration. It could be lack of jobs, 24.3% unemployment, even though the media tells you it's 4.3. It's not so. Jobs are great. No, they're not. The mortgage is great. The insurance rate is great. The rental prices are great. Gasoline is great. Prices of new cars, old cars are great. Now that's great. Prices of ordinary accommodations are great. You can buy 4 energy bars for like $12 now. Isn't that great? Instead of the usual $5 or $6. But when you're dealing with a two-tiered economy, two-tiered relationships, millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires versus 50K, 35K, 200K people. And those 200K people, a third of that goes to taxes, and then you have all the other mortgage, insurances, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, it's not clear money that you have. You can say, oh, I make 6 figures, but what are you really living on per month, per week, per day? So we're in trouble here because we have a lot of unsteady issues. But now it's culminating with saying, with the Marines, are they issuing in a new system? Military rule. We have all the factors. We have jobs, joblessness. We have angry, scared people. We have frightened people. We have earthquakes. We have this, we have that. And somehow LA is picked to be the center, ground zero for the beginning change. If it wasn't enough to get the burning of LA, and then you have a governor who feels he's showing his sensitive side by crying. Now, seeing a man cry is nothing new to anyone. We all shed tears. It's human. But however, we do know that theater is theater, and politicians are known to be theatrical theatrics. Theatrics, if that's a word. I'll just leave it as that. They like good drama. Drama helps. Drama is excusable because you play on other people's emotions, but tears do nothing. And we have to, the families, American families are suffering. Nobody's really paying attention to American families. And yes, I would like to run over to another country where the cost of living was cheaper. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Especially if you don't have like your house is in foreclosure, you've been evicted from your domicile, your car is being repossessed. These things are happening left and right. You can't pay your insurance. You get pulled over for tickets. Now, all this is fuel for chaos, angriness, hopelessness, all these type of negative things, which when you just want to say, oh, it's the immigrants' fault, well, not so. Not so. It's just, of course, coming 50 million people or 200 million people, whatever it's been, 70 million people coming into a country and just gimme, 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 gimme. And we've seen that some of them are quite well fed looking and quite well dressed. And there's different things. It was a ticket to come and destroy, infiltrate, and confuse. We all know that. We all know that. But what are we doing about it? Some of us less, or some of us paid people are getting paid, go out there and make a lot of noise, are agitating a situation. And you have to wonder that it's all being part of a script leading to military rule. Let's just pick one more card here and let's see. Now we're doing this poll to see if the LA riots are leading to, as a segue, like a military drill, military rule drill. Well, let's just see how it goes. Let's see how the people take it. Or they're going to fall for it. Now, the first thing we have here is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, agitation, fighting scene, the riots. You can always make a situation better or you can make it worse. It takes a true leader to make it better, to soothe the masses, not to agitate them. I'm going to put you in jail. I'm going to fine you if you do this. I'm going to. That goes, where does that go? Where does that go? It creates a state, which we have right now in LA, of us against them, instead of us together trying to figure this out, trying to hold onto the fabric. But the intent is not to hold onto the fabric freely as free men and free women. No, free people. No, it's meant to be chaotic. It's meant to have a boss. It's meant to strike down the spirit. The spirit. We anarchy in either corporate anarchy, or civilian unrest, or let's just use the word unrest, chaotic unrest, will not lead to anything constructive either. So, banging into stores. We've seen this already. Robbing people, small businesses, setting cars on fire. And then saying, oh, there's more to it. Who stands to gain with this chaos? The military rule. Who rules the military? Isn't Zelensky already in military rule, martial law? Martial law, is that where we're going? Lockdown 2? Lockdown 2. And then again, if they succeed in labeling this immigration riots, when's the next time if there's a pandemic lockdown 2 riots, or I want a job riots, or I don't feel for this riots? Any type of protest is going to be illegal. Aren't Americans known for protests? But now, what is this crowd of people that are these instigators that are hired to do throw things, use guns, do this, do that. So we can't even express our yay or nay. So here we have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands. The Three of Wands. Anticipating. Anticipating. There's the fight, the Seven of Swords. Fight, 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 the riots. We have the Three of Wands as though they're anticipating happening. Anticipating this is working for us. You know, there's people in the military that just love to fight. They love to like do things because it makes them feel good. Agitation is what they're there for. They're not builders. They're there to stomp. They're there to follow orders. They don't care what the order is. Americans fight. If you're in the military, a lot of the Marines were there to go in there and stomp out the opposition and to do what they're told to do. The next card we have here, we pulled. Now that's anticipating. The next thing we have here is the Hermit. The Hermit. Xenophobic. Or leave us alone. Leave us alone. Xenophobia. I alone will do this. We're awaiting to be only Americans? Nah. That's not the kind of country. That's not the country we are to be. Xenophobic means there's reasons for to be xenophobic. There's not enough jobs. There's too much H1B workers. There's always someone to do your job, and it's cheaper, and they'll do it. Blah blah blah. We already get that, and that's not fun. It's to be on the receiving end of no job, high food, no money is not fun. And that's probably why the people, or who else is going to be out in the streets getting their heads all bopped in and agitating. And also, we do know that the Craigslist and other places have listed people. Some people are out in the streets in LA because it's the job that they were paid to do. And the next card we pull, the King of Wands. The King of Wands could be several. The King of Wands could be who's putting the money for the T-shirts, the signs, the anti-riot material. Also, the King of Wands could be all the actors, the main scene, the theme maker. There's a theme behind this, a theme, agitation theme. There's a theme behind who gets to play boss, who gets to play, I'm number one. I'm in the the in crowd. The in crowd. Who gets to say, are we becoming less democratic with military rule? Yeah, duh. Of course we are. Of course we are. The King of Wands. Who can make the most agitation? Who can make the most? The Americans are very pissed off people because we're not getting what we want no matter which way we turn. And then here we have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles, diplomacy. Are we going to have a diplomatic solution to this? It doesn't seem this Trump administration wants to really sit down and have a talk other than getting their desired effect. The desired effect is one action, one way to act, always accept. Does it seem that way? Why can't you can see? Okay, the summer brings heat. It's hot. There's a lot of chaos. A lot of times the job scene is bleak. And then, of course, there was even one thing in the riots that the military people were told: watch over the water distribution. Now, when you're out there screaming and I guess, fires and blah blah blah, screaming at the top of your lungs, and the agitation, you get thirsty, and that's also being controlled. Water distribution. It's a little too. There's too much method to this. There's too much organization to this. On all levels. The response is over heavy-handed. The response of bringing in the Marines. This makes it sacrilegious to like D-Day and going and helping Europe and everything else, but they're helping LA, and then of course we have LA, which has a scores of earthquakes rumbling in the distance. We have fires in the street. We have the military. We have the people agitated. We have the Mexican flag instead of the California flag. We have the Mexican flag. Is this a little too? I mean, even to buy a flag, can you get your hands on a flag if you didn't have one? I mean, how much does a flag cost? It costs money. Any flag. Then these people all can be floating around with these seemingly unemployed people because they're not working. They're in the streets. You need to have a flag. That costs money. Every single thing to get a drink of water costs money. To get drugs costs money. To get a flag, every single thing costs money. And who is financing this? Where is the money coming from? You or I, taxpayers? I don't think so. And who gains? We should have a discussion about who is gaining on this. Who is gaining? And then here we have the Four of Swords, a timing card. A timing card. Is it going to be time out for diplomacy? Time out for diplomacy. And this is, where are we headed? It looks as though that indeed we have an atmosphere of agitation, an atmosphere of anticipating a change, a hermit. Hermit could also be a change. Hermit could be definitely introspective. It's not working. It's not working. We all know that Newsom is not working. He's been through successfully installed for lockdown, even though he was having a party scene, other people were being fined. I mean, the duplicity and the pyramid, the top of the pyramid system, hierarchical pyramid system of governance is very apparent in California, highly apparent. Does it serve the people? No, something else is at hand. And that's probably what the Trump administration is trying to figure out if they didn't have an agenda of their own. You can't rule out that all the people are playing a role. They're all playing a role to see what, where, how. What, where, how. How to instigate, how to change the United States. All right, we're changing the United States in terms of food security. We've changed the United States in terms of economic prosperity. We're not prosperous. We're not prosperous. So I guess it's a matter of time with the Four of Swords, the Weight card, that we are simply analyzing and seeing what system we have right now is under attack. It's been under attack for the last 5 years, or plus more. I mean, a system is always being attacked. They call it, sometimes it's helpful criticism, sometimes it's more than that. And of course, now it's more than that. We have to think, what do we want our country to look like? Anarchy? Prosperity? Sitting down and having discussions? Stop calling names. Name calling is already, when you start calling people names, you're already being defeatist. You're already admitting you lost. The solution probably is simple and it's complex. It's simple because It's a matter of, do you like this or do you not like this? Do you see where our country is going? Military rule, everybody thinks the military is the answer because our politicians are corrupt, because our politicians are not working for the people, because our politicians are working for these hermit, someone else. Hmm, someone else. Who are these people working for? A new world order? Or maybe they've had directives from some other intelligence. Obviously, something's going on. Something's going on. The population is kept stupid. We, as Americans, are not known to be bright. We're known to be kept stupid. And perhaps that's too is why people are out on the street, because they're tired of isolationist, stupid being put at them and being forced to accept it. And then you have mouthpieces saying it's because we're a nation of this and that. No, we don't have enough food in this country. We don't have housing. We're totally insecure. We are totally insecure people with a very fragile, fragile country. Fragile in terms of our ability to cope with change, fragile with our landscape. Look at how many earthquakes, how many volcanoes we have in this country. We also have frequency weapons that are aimed at, I mean, we have many, many, many things. We have certain ways of talking. We have certain ways of saying things. Everything is afraid. Everything is like, be afraid. The mentality is all towards agitation. And that's something we keep on, it's a demonic force in a sense. It's very demonic. Why are we keep on agitating our own people? These are the discussions we must have. If you're nervous and upset and thinking irrationally, how can you advance your culture? A culture, any culture, other than the culture of fear and what? Now, is a culture like that? That's a culture that's ready for military rule. Under the military rule, you don't have to think, giving dictates. You're not allowed to protest. You're not allowed to say anything if you're not in the know, not even the now, in the know, like you know someone. And of course, when you're in a previous consumer-based society, it's based on how much assets you have, your value, your value, your value. So we have to take time out and think about what direction we want our country to be in. We have to think about what direction it's going in. If we don't sit down and talk, if we don't realize where we're going with this explosive scene, we will truly end up isolated, unchanged, and we will have a lot of further unrest. Even if the military takes over, we will be reduced to a very pitiful state. So the spirits say we should take time, we should cease this discord, and we should think about which direction is best. Top heavy is not an answer. Whatever is top heavy will keel over. And to recognize that we do have sleeper cells in this country. We do. And are we just feeding them? Every small town has faces that are not familiar, new faces. And what are we doing for our citizens? Not much. Not much. We're being abused. We're being abused in terms of actions. We're being abused in terms of intent. And who is abusing us? This is for discussion. That's what the Spirit says. When you feel you're abused, you feel you're being used, How can you be a good host to anyone? How can you even be a good host for yourself? All right, I'll leave you with those thoughts. And I think that indeed LA is a beta test for the spirits say, the universe says that under strawberry moon, full moon night, the universe says that this is indeed a beta test to see how it goes, to plant the seeds of military rule. Even saying it's spreading from one city to another city. Uh-huh. Poverty is spreading from one city to another city. Hunger is spreading from one city to another town. Questions are spreading from one to another to another to another. That's what's spreading. Hello, how are you? So those are the questions we have to ask. What kind of society? What kind of society are we willing to evolve or de-evolve into? Because we are changing. I'm still waiting personally for the questions of what are those drones and what are those orbs all in the sky. I like to know how come none of these food factories that were exploded or destroyed. What was the who did it? Who did this and who did that? How come the bridges are falling apart? How come the infrastructure is falling apart? How come we're having snipers in LA on the 1 mile area of discord? These are the questions. These are the questions. Who's getting paid for all this? Questions. Answer those questions before we have any more, any more discord, any more violence. Answer those questions. Who's paying for it? That's easy enough, isn't it? Isn't it? I think so. I think so. It's easy enough. That was my pussycat. She'd like to come involved. She came and she went. She came and she went. Well, I think that we can all say that. Would you want to see the military? Have you been? I mean, a lot of people have been in countries. You have the military with the machine gun standing on the corner, or at least a high-powered rifle. I've seen it in different countries, in Asia. I've seen it, and in my travels, and it's something you never quite get used to. And we've also seen in like the World Trade Centers when they had there in Miami, we had tanks, we had army guys, we had this, we had that. When the World Trade people organizations would get together in the 90s or the early 200s, 2000s. And it's not exactly a settling site. The military boots on the ground, mm-mm. it's not. It's not urban. It's not countrywide. It's not there. It's not. It's not for. It's not. It's definitely not a good fit. It's not a good fit. And what we need is leadership. Is not tears like Newsom is giving. We need to have conversation about the what's wrong and how to fix it. And first of all, we start with what's wrong is our food, clothing, and shelter needs are not being met. You'd find the basis of that in any society, including the Mexican society, are not being met. All right, so I'm going to end this. Until the next time, thank you for joining. My subscribers, if you have any comments, and my non subscribers, welcome aboard. Welcome to listen to this. And more comments, please, because we have to find a solution to this because we can see where it's headed. It's headed to military rule. This is a drill, a drool down your lips. It's not exactly where we want to go with our country. It's not progress, it's stepping back. It's not answering any of our questions about who and where and how we live. We're not part of the universe in this sense. We can't speak anymore. We can't say what we want to say. Do we have to scream? No, we don't have to scream. We don't have to scream. We don't have to listen. What do we have to do? We have to sit down and talk to each other and understand where this is going and the direction. Is this what we want the United States to be? One hellhole after another hellhole? That's where it's headed. All right, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. Listening, communicating. Until the next time, Mystic Moons is out.